You hurt me?
I promise you I won't.
Father will be back soon.
So yeah. In case you're wondering, by the way, the if you like the lead replicant in that is called Clovis. So now we actually have a name to his face now after all that excitement. So where did those two replicants ambush us is where Roy Batty and Deckard have their final scene. So it is like again totally heavily inspired by the movie at that point. And again, considering that like timeline wise, it's kind of separated by a couple of days. Like there's not much difference between them in a sense. So yeah, it's for Los Angeles being so big and packed, like the replicants are creatures of habit in terms of their hideouts and stuff, you know.
You say Los Angeles big packed. Like basically, we have 5 buildings here.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, well, again, it's also important to note as well. It's not the same Los Angeles we know now. Like, this is like whatever Los Angeles was left after a nuclear war. So whatever that was left behind, they built over it, and then over it again, and then over it again. So it's like so in a way, like imagine if your city of choice was like, you know, instead of being spread out this way, like horizontally, imagine spread out vertically. And how like depraved and hideous that would look, you know.
Like there's definitely an LA wildfire joke there somewhere, but we would be specific.
Well, that is true. I mean, like somehow the wildfires are still going at time of recording, and by the time this is uploaded, so you know, there you go. I think it should be the recurring joke now that there is now just a perpetual wildfire in LA. Like how the Simpsons had the tire fire.
Hysteria Hall was an arcade.
Yeah, they do.
Nothing else there.
Like, say what you will about pollution, but Springfield has got everyone fucking covered on that one.
True.
Like, nothing really gets you out of bed in the morning like a nuclear power plant and the smell of burning rubber. So incidentally, that locked door that we came across earlier on, we now know where that led to. So
they took my pictures. Couldn't stop them. How about me? You think I'm easy to stop? Who the hell are you?
McCoy,
I'm
LPD.
Batman.
LPD, huh? Maybe you guys can return something to me.
How do you know?
I mean, it
exactly?
is easy to presume that anyone with a trench coat is a Blade Runner, but no, this guy is just a lone shark.
The other guy.
What other guy?
Don't play dumb.
What about him?
Nothing. I just thought you were gonna arrest me, that's all.
I don't care about your little run-in with the manager, okay? I'm looking for a couple of replicants.
Can't help you there, friend.
Maybe the clerk can tell me who was renting that room back there. Why were you hassling him?
You let these creeps in my room. I'm a very private person.
What do they got against you?
Nothing, friend. I ain't done nothing.
You've definitely done absolutely nothing to
We're all
deserve
innocents,
it.
aren't we?
Damn straight. I don't like people asking questions either.
Just help me out here a little more. You seen a big Rasta guy around here, or a guy with a beard and dark eyes?
A Rasta? What's that?
He's got dreadlocks. Talks with an accent.
Oh.
Kofi Kingskin.
No, I ain't seen no one like that.
Essentially, just like I mean, I don't want to say it, but oh, the Gap guy, yeah, he's going right around. Shows you how much we've moved on, folks. Like, McCoy is somehow not racially profiling when he's doing this investigation. He is actually trying to be politically correct. And look where it's getting him. Fucking nowhere. Now again, much like because I even had my gun drawn there, like I could have easily shot that guy without any proof of him being human or replicant. But that'd be one of the cases where like, oh no, that's a game over because like you wasted him for no reason. So you definitely do get you're definitely punished for being rash in this game. That's to say.
Who was working
Yeah, funny it was like this in the last game.
Going through the I doubted if there was
indeed.
anything I could find that hadn't already been snagged and bagged.
I was under a lot of pressure
You were fucking nuts. Don't lie to me.
Nothing.
And don't lie to Jerry in particular, because he doesn't take
Nothing.
kindly to liars. Makes him
Nothing.
very upset. He starts crying.
Nothing.
And he's an ugly crier as well, and don't want that on the channel.
Yeah.
You know?
That's
I was about to say, I haven't seen a ugly cry since Cody Rhodes won the title.
Oh, thank God that wasn't in the woolshed. Jesus fucking Christ.
I know.
Oh. Like, no, seriously, like, as soon as seen his music hit, I opened, and I did not stop until halfway through the press conference afterwards. So, like,
That's
and I'm
brilliant.
like, just in public with everyone that I know kind of walking by, go, "Yeah, you okay?"
He almost
I'm
never
like,
left
"Oh,
the plant. I think it had something
Alright,
to do
I'm
with the
fine,
air
thanks.
outside.
Holden's badge.
So Holden is the former chief of the Blade Runners. So the guy that Guza replaced.
Oh.
So his badge has been just found in a crime scene, and McCoy doesn't know who runs this side of the town. So now suddenly Guza's been promoted to being the chief. Just saying that's a bit interesting. That's all.
I love
It's
it.
interesting.
I'm also
It is
thinking, could the guy whose badge that is be
The car looked a lot like the
is
one I'd been
being set
tracking.
up
The
right
driver
now
had been smart
by
enough
having
to
his
pull the
badge.
license plate, but the vehicle identification
Ah.
number was still there. If I
Yeah,
ran
no,
into the
I totally
mainframe
get what
back
you're
at the
saying.
station, I could ID the
Now
owner.
again, it depends on where, like, it has it already happened by this point. Is the kind of the real
wrapper
question
was
in a
from a
sense.
vendor I knew.
Best
Lycan
I'm going
dogs
to
in
double check to
Ford
see if
sector.
Holden was
That wasn't
in
saying
the
a whole lot, but with an arcade next
in
door
the
and a dozen
actual,
nightclubs down the street, Mia and Murray
in the
Stamps saw
movie.
more
I
action
don't
in
think
a
he
night than
was,
Nick
but I'll double
Finster
check anyway
saw
just to be
all
sure.
last century.
He actually was in the movie. There you go. That's answer my question. And yes, he was actually meant to be in the game as well, but they couldn't secure him for voice acting, so they just pulled the character. So there you go. There's your answer. So yeah, so that's that hotel area is now all completely new stuff to us there, but that also network connects all the sushi area that the sushi bar and the adjoining kind of like abandoned area. So that's all interconnected now. So again, nice to have those little kind of like, like little shortcuts if we ever need it. Now that being said, it's a little bit redundant for the majority of the game because you have to park your car somewhere. So you could end up like say for instance, like if you park your car at your apartment, you're in walking distance to the police station. But like if you want to go off to a destination on the opposite side of town, you need your car. So like you have to go back
You
to
have
your
to go
apartment
back.
and fucking yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
It's like it's yeah. It's a nice thought, but yeah, for
There's
the majority
no-
of the game.
There's no opponent song at this point.
No, exactly, yeah.
Laboratory.
I will say, like, I found it so fucking weird that like we got like a big dump load of evidence at the start of the game from the lab, and then nothing since. It was like I've been solving crimes. Give me something to work with here, guys. Come on.
Fourth sector today as a Blade Runner
But
shot
no,
an
apparently
alleged
not.
replicant in the middle of a crowded street. Lieutenant Edison Gusa, supervisor of the LPD's Rep DTEC unit, had this to say.
It was a good, clean takedown. The public should thank us for retiring these skin jobs before they get into any real trouble. You want to get that thing out of my face before it ends up shooting film where the sun don't shine?
So
That's a bit.
yeah,
That's a bit hostile for a job well done.
yeah,
Kind of
he's
thing.
he's a bit light
It's also
on it.
not.
Yeah,
It's also very New York of an answer.
it is, isn't it? Like, yeah, it's like get out of here.
Personal clue.
I'm walking here.
Walking here. But yes, no, that incident that they're talking about there is actually from the movie. It is Rick Deckard wasting basically a stripper slash replicant in the middle of the street. Basically, like really crowded street, and they basically just picks a shot perfectly, and she's taken down in 2 shots. Like she lands on a car and stuff like that. Like so, like the scene itself is it's fairly iconic. I think I mentioned it already in a previous bit, but basically like Deckard kind of comes in like he's a pervy fan and completely like like hoodwinks her in that sense because she's a replicant, she doesn't pick up on the deception, so she just goes along with it. And then so turns, snapping, away she goes. She starts running away, and then Deckard gets her in the end. So, but yeah, so that should give you an indication of like what kind of timeline we're on here. So the game is working in parallel. Is happening in parallel with the movie. So this just happens to be another story that's happening at the same time as the movie, which I love, by the way. Like it's not like the game tactically decided to not just retell the story of Blade Runner. It decided to own bespoke adventure in the game while also acknowledging the fact, okay, these are also happening at the same time. It is just a case like, okay, that's Deckard's story. Let's see what another Blade Runner is doing, and it's pretty much the same shit. It's the same job, really, when you think about it.
Yeah. Also, when you go back to your one to see about that dragonfly jewelry thing.
Yeah. I think that's the plan. Yeah, so that'd be one job we have there. So seeing that we've had a time skip now, it'll probably be a good time to jump in and see if that's boring you through.
My migraine's acting up.
I actually feel kind of sorry for him because he's like all alone. There's like 20 cells there, like in a row.
I think if you do arrest, in fairness now, if you do arrest like any sympathizers in the game, again, the game arbitrary picking these sympathizers, that they will join them in the cells, so you will actually see them in there. It just so happens that with this playthrough in particular, he's the only one at the moment. Again, that could all change later on in the game. You just don't know. You just don't know where this adventure's going to go, guys. Well, I know, obviously, because I played it, but you guys don't. So what I will say is that I think the game has an inventory of 5 replicants per session. So obviously, the sushi chef is your free one, in a sense. He's always going to be your go-to. Then you got Sadiq, and you got
any luck finding more of that dragonfly jewelry?
The other guy whose name I've fucking forgotten now. But you always have those two. They're gonna be well, actually no, that's not true. So the main guy is always gonna be a Blade Runner. Like he is the leader of the group. But weirdly enough, there's a possible permutation where Sadiq is not in fact a replicant. He just is a bomber. He's just a terrorist. Which is a really weird permutation. Because for a start, it just doesn't fucking make sense, because you still get the cutscene where he's lifting this fat guy up with one arm, so like where does he get the super strength from,
Yeah, everything would point to him being a replicant, because considering he's that much of a heel of a competent evil guy, he has to be. Oh, whoa, that would be.
Yeah, so that's a weird one.
Is it called a litmus test? Or I think I got that wrong. But the test of replicants has to be
the void conf test. Yeah. That's not it's not based off any like actual science, by the way. That is just, it's an arbitrary. They just picked 2 random names and said, like, in the same way, like, there's a Bechdel test, there's a the Rembrandt test and stuff like that. So these are just like, just 2 generic scientist names, and they said this is their technique for finding replicants. But yeah, no, so there are a couple of other possibilities. So again, there's a possibility that Lucy is human, and you just have to find your discern whether you reckon she is or not. The guy that ran away either on Ezo, again, he could be very well just be an arms supplier, or he's a replicant. Same difference, really. And again, because he's now basically fucked up and he lost the trail on Ezo, we will never know if he was a human or replicant. That's the best part. And yeah, there's a couple of other characters that we will see over the next while, but yeah, there's basically a set amount, I think it is.
You can do better than that.
No, it's true. Mr. Q sent me a vid just yesterday. Getting the hell of a tan he is.
So this is similar to the club that Deckard does go to in order to check it out. So the kind of street that you saw there on the before we came in, I don't think it's the same one that about that scene I was talking about, but it's very similar. It is it'll be a similar kind of like proverbial red light district to what we have. And again, I say proverbial because pretty much every district is a red light district in this universe. So you know. As is often the case with a cyberpunk world, everything is sleaze. Everything is porn. Everything is dirt. Everything is perversion. So, what we have to do here is, so the hotel owner, the nightclub owner is a guy called Early, and Deckard wants to obviously interview him. So those tables there, right? They're VIP tables. You can't quite see it from the graphics, but they are rotating tables.
Jesus.
So the way this works is, so you see that, so the pink-haired like guy there is the bouncer, and he's basically watching you go around the room.
Jesus.
Now he doesn't. The thing is, he doesn't run, right? So say if you go and try and go for the staff entrance there, which is the door with the red light, he'll just fuck you out. So you see now that we're running to the opposite side of the room, he's just keeping an eye on us, just keeping a bead on us. So essentially what you have to do is, like with every good, like, you know, like I would say good stealth game or any kind of game where like you have obvious pathing, you kite him around the level. Like he'll if you start, like, you know, annoying the girl there on stage, and then suddenly make a beeline then for that table, he won't catch you in time. which is the whole gimmick here. So like you have to get to that table in time because that's where the VIP section is, and it's completely blocked off to the rest of the nightclub. So literally your only way to this area is by sitting at the table and going on the it's basically going on the waltzer for all intents and purposes.
But how are you to know that offhand?
Again, it's the same. I think I can't remember if that setup is in the movie or not. I don't remember it if it is. I think for the most part, I think it is. There's a case like there's a VIP section there, and I think in dialogue McCoy mentions that, like, you know, Early waiting for me is like, no, these are just for VIPs only. So
right.
It is a, like, you know, like test the video game out here, you know. And I think I do actually try and interact with that table. I don't know how well it goes.
McCoy, right?
So remember this guy that was floating in midair earlier on?
You want an
The guy with the red tux. So
Oh yeah.
yeah.
He's the hover guy.
Yeah.
We're gonna call him
I'm gonna ask you a
Ron.
few questions.
You may call him Ron, but his name is actually Gordo. His name is Gordo
Appreciate
Fritz.
your patience. You know the chef at Howie's?
That big, flabby guy? Never seen him before.
You were hanging around right when he took off.
Pure coincidence. You are one hell of a suspicious cat, McCoy. Kick back, relax, watch my show. Take a little break from your boring
Yeah,
existence.
so there you go. He actually works here too. Not only does he drink, he's actually a working member of the entertainment industry, also known as a prick. And I even hate the way he walks. Like he's not that. Yeah.
The swagger.
Hey, is everybody
Yeah.
having a good time tonight?
The answer is no.
And a tornado have in common. First, there's a lot of sucking and blowing, and then you lose your house. You know what my first wife's nickname was? Twister. The doctor calls up his patient.
As you can see, he takes his routines from all the most problematic comedians of the
got
time.
24 hours to live. The patient says, "What could be worse than that?" The doctor says, "I've been trying to reach you since yesterday." Guess what?
Bum, 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 bum.
Really well.